Hello, everyone, and welcome to College of Ag Week. Today, we are discussing Tarleton's master's program in agricultural and consumer resources. And I'm pleased to be joined today by a faculty member from the program, Dr. Justin Pulley. As he's going through his presentation, if you do have questions, please go ahead and submit those using either the Q&A box or the chat box, and we will handle those at the end. But for now, I will just turn things over to him.
Thanks for having me. I'm from the Department of Agricultural Education and Communication, and our master's program that we have with our department is the Masters of Science in Agricultural and Consumer Resources. There are a lot of different people who we've got a part of our program. They all come from different areas of just agriculture in general, not just ag education, but we get some people in from animal science, wildlife, horticulture, and so on. And their main areas focus within ag education and extension, agricultural communication, agricultural industries, and also from the various leadership positions within these areas. Now, our program makeup, about a third of them are in-service high school ag teachers that are looking to get that extra bump in their school district and in their programs there. A lot of them look for this degree to help them teach the dual credit classes that high schools are now implementing through the various programs. Our other third, or the second third of it, comes from county extension agents. If you've ever had an interest in agri-life or 4-H or anything like that, most of our county extension agents are required to have a master's within the first 3 years of them taking an extension related job. So we are pretty popular with our agri-life and extension folks as far as those people getting their masters. And then the other third of our program are really just any kind of agricultural professionals that are seeking a master's degree. This is either them moving up into a management type position or a different level of their company where they feel a master's may benefit them. And this also gets them more equipped and involved in the agricultural industry. Now, when it comes down to admission requirements, the standard Tarleton Graduate College application will be the application that you'll want to fill out if you're interested in this program. As far as requirements to get in, we require a 2.5 GPA minimum, and then a personal statement essay. This is more of why are you wanting to get your master's and what's interested you to get a master's in this specific area. We may ask you what brought you to Tarleton or what made you interested in Tarleton. We do not require any admission tests, so GRE, the MAT. Since COVID, a lot of that stuff is kind of phased out, and we don't require these exams anymore. Additionally, we do not need any of letters of recommendation or anything along those lines. Now, our program, this is a 36-hour degree, which is the equivalent of 12 3-hour courses. We have 5 required courses, which we'll show later on a different slide. And then your elective courses. These elective courses can come from within our department or our program, or they can be electives taken anywhere throughout the college at the master's level. We quite frequently get students that move over into animal science, take a few classes there, horticulture and wildlife over there, or they may even go over to the College of Education. If they're a little bit more education focused, they may pull a few classes from over there. But those 7 classes can come from anywhere. We have a couple different degree plans, and depending on how quick or how fast you're trying to get through with your master's, our standard degree plan is where you graduate in essentially 2 years or 4 semesters. This is taking no summer classes. So basically the fall of your first year, your first semester and second semester, you would take 3 classes each semester. Take the summer off, work, or if you have other jobs that you're working, do those, and then come back the second year and finish out the last 2 semesters, taking 3 classes each semester. This would be your 12 classes or 36 hours for your program. Now, to get you graduated in a year, you would still complete 4 semesters, but you would include the summer over this. So this is really about a year and a half-ish almost if you compare it to the other program. Your first year, fall and spring, your first and second semesters, 3 classes each. This would require you to then come in during the summer and take 3 classes during the summer as well, and then wrap up in that second year, that fall semester. Still comes out to 12 classes, but this really depends on whether or not you want to take some of the classes or not. Since most of our people in our program are working, we offer 100% face-to-face and 100% online. We have sections to accommodate both of those face-to-face courses and those online courses. That being said, also, since most of our people are working in our program, you can take a variety of classes. You do not have to take 3 classes a semester. Most of our working professionals take 1 to 2 classes a semester. And while that may drag out your degree plan a few more semesters, it's a little bit more accommodating for those that are working a full-time job while getting their master's as well. Along with our degree plans, we have the options of completing a thesis or going the non-thesis route. For the thesis option, this requires 30 hours of coursework, so 10 courses, 3 hours apiece, and then 6 hours of thesis credit. So you're giving up 2 of your classes to have dedicated time to work on a thesis or a research project, either inspired by you or a faculty member that you've decided to work with. Along with that, you're completing the project. You do have to come in at the very end of your program and defend that research project or defend that thesis to your faculty committee, as well as some of the other faculty of the department. Additionally, if you decide to follow along and get future degrees, whether it be another master's or at the PhD level, this gives you the opportunity to publish your research work in an academic journal related to your discipline or your area. For the non-thesis option, you take 36 hours of coursework, which is the full 12 courses that you can take to fit in this program. At the very end of your program, you'll complete a comprehensive written exam. These are questions pulled from all of the classes that you have taken throughout your program, your required classes, as well as our elective classes. After you take that exam, similar to the thesis, you'll come back and defend your answers or why you think you did well or did those questions correctly throughout your program. Now, our concentrations for this program. We're going through a little bit of a name change here, so hopefully soon we'll officially be approved to be Masters of Science in Agricultural Leadership, Education, and Communications. To match that name change, we've got several different concentrations within our program. Our agricultural leadership, agricultural communications, these both offer the thesis and non-thesis tracks for these concentrations. Then our educator certification track. This is for our face-to-face and Stephenville campus only students. This certificate or this track is for those that wish to become certified to teach high school agricultural education. So if you have a desire to become a high school ag teacher, this would be the track for you. While the certification track is mainly in person, there are additional courses outside of the 36 hours that you would need to take and also be a part of the College of Education to get this finalized and get properly certified by the end of your program. Okay, so please keep that in mind with this one. Now, here are a list of our required courses. Each of these courses are designed to give you a little bit of something to contribute to your degree plan. For example, in our seminar course, this is our intro into the program. We're going to be looking at faculty. We're going to be looking at courses you can take, filling out your degree plans, and really kind of giving you a few additional looks at what you need to be prepared for moving into some of your other classes. We'll look at IRB. We'll look at resources given out by the graduate college, as well as the library. Some of your other ones down in here, we've got our research methods courses, data analysis courses, and then we also have a separate course set aside for you to be able to complete your comprehensive exam or to set aside and defend for your thesis project or your research project. Now, all of your elective classes, we've said that you've got essentially 18 credit hours that you can take towards your electives. These are some of our common electives offered within our department: our leadership for agricultural education, teaching methods, ag policy, We have various agricultural communications courses that are taught at both the graduate only level and our undergraduate level that can be combined to make for various AgCom electives, as well as some of our Ag Ed electives. While most of the graduate level Ag Ed electives kind of focus more towards the educator certification track, there are a few that offer a different look at agricultural education at more at an advanced level. Some of our online classes, we've got our ethics and environmental issues, extension programs, international agricultural education and extension, methods of tech change. And then we've got a variety of other online electives that we can take that are just online. But like I said before, this is 100% in person and 100% online. So all these classes at one point can be offered in person or online. So you're not missing out on anything. So our required courses, that's going to be 12 hours of any Tarleton 53 level classes, including your required ones and any ACRS courses. We do offer 12 hours of transfer credit allowed. So if you are bringing in courses, be sure to get with me or any of the other faculty so we can talk about which courses you may be bringing in, which ones that we can subside from each other. And then we can also balance that out that way. So may change your degree point just a little bit. We do also offer credit allowed for personal and professional conferences. So if you're a high school ag teacher and you're going to state FFA convention, or if you're going to ag teachers conference, we can work that out into a problems course or a type of course designed to get you credit for doing something that you already may be doing. This applies to extension as well, or any industry professional that may be attending a conference or a convention related to that. So far, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm an assistant professor over here in the department. I teach some of our agricultural mechanics courses along with our graduate level research methods and data analysis courses, as well as some of our agricultural education courses. My email you can get to at jpulley@tarleton.edu, and that is my office number right there. So feel free to reach out if you see or think of anything else later on.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pulley. This has been so helpful to have you explain all of this. For our live audience, if you have any questions, go ahead and submit those via the Q&A box or the chat box. I do have a couple of questions of my own, if you don't mind. I want to start with this picture. What are we looking at here?
So this is my second thesis student that I got her. This is a part of her thesis research. Actually, we got accepted to a national conference, and she is presenting her innovative and research idea posters there. We've done some work with virtual reality and testing out its effectiveness in the welding shop with our pre-service undergraduate level ag teachers. So this is her presenting her work on the self-efficacy of that.
Well, and that's a nice segue, because one of my questions was about the thesis option and what percentage of people go that route and what types of things are they deciding to research.
So it really, I think this is more true with any program that you talk to. Each faculty member kind of got their own research lines and their own interests. My work is primarily done with the integration of virtual reality into the secondary level, so high school, but also post-secondary into more college and skill-based learning areas and learning labs. So that's kind of my area. Some of our other faculty focus on the evaluation of extension programs, worked with ag policy and looking at the integration of different producer areas of food and natural resources here in Texas and the effectiveness of programs on those as well. And then on our ag com side, we've got some that are looking at integrating more master's level courses and looking at the effectiveness of those courses and the program just in general. So we have a pretty wide area of research interests that kind of tackle a little bit of everything.
Yes. So then for someone who might be interested in pursuing a thesis, they would just partner with a faculty member who's maybe doing something similar. Is that how it works?
That's what we'll try to do. We also do want to engage the student that if they are coming in and they're interested in something specifically, we'll try and pair you with somebody that's pretty close to that because
Mhm.
we know if you're going to try and do a lengthy research project, you've got to be interested in it as well. And so we really try to foster something that the student wants to work on, as well as a faculty member that can help guide them through that. So if you
Yes.
are interested in doing a thesis with any of us, get with us when you apply and let us know what some of your interests may be. And we can either pair you up with the right person or maybe point you in the right direction related to the research topic or the research interest uh, of the faculty member that might be able to help you.
Yes. And then for those who opt out of the thesis route, did I see they would have a capstone project in their final semester? No, comprehensive exam.
Yes, and so
Okay.
that comprehensive exam is going to serve as the capstone project
Okay.
for those students. So essentially, we're going to look at all the classes that you've taken throughout your program. We'll develop some questions and pull all that together, and we'll ask you to, as any comprehensive exam, you'll need to sit down and review all of your course material and all of the coursework that you went through in your various classes. We'll pull those questions together and get you to answer them, and then you'll come in and talk about what you learned from those questions and what made you think of the answers that you answered or wrote down for those. But that comprehensive exam is not as intense as a thesis, but it's still pretty a pretty decent exercise for you to still be able to go through and answer all those questions that you've had
Yes.
over your 2 years.
And what is the format of that exam?
Well, since most of our students or most of our participants that we have are on it online or at a distance, we we have this set up so that we can either offer uh not tutored but
Proctored?
proctored exam for via Zoom, or if you're on campus or you're in person, we can set up testing center accommodations for you to come in, sit down, and you'll have essentially the whole day to write out your exam and write out your questions and why you think these are this way.
Mhm.
Uh, so we really have accommodated truly the 100% online and the 100% face-to-face options for
Yes.
this.
Thank you so much. Very helpful. Something to look forward to. And for those who may be wondering, comprehensive exams are pretty typical in graduate master's level programs. So um, you can look forward to that experience as well. You mentioned online quite a bit, and I know for some people, particularly those who've been out of school for many years, it's hard to wrap their mind around what it would be like to be a student 100% online, particularly at the graduate school level. So, can you talk a little bit about how the program is executed? What would students actually be doing? Tarleton has adopted Canvas as our learning management system, so that's going to be integral to the process. But talk a little bit about how the experience happens online.
Yeah, and for our online students, we utilize Canvas pretty heavy, especially for my courses. Um, I typically, me personally, for my Canvas courses, I typically go through and everything is asynchronous. You can do it at your own pace, but we have new content that's released weekly, usually in the form of a short video or a set of slides or something that you would have to work through in order to get through, read the content for it. We may have an assignment or two, depending on what we're talking about that week. It may be a simple worksheet, maybe working on a continual assignment that's due at the end of the semester. Uh, for example, my research methods class, we start talking about research in general, and we work through each of the parts of working out a research proposal, what you need to think about, what are the different components for it. And we have drafts that are due throughout the semester that we turn in and get feedback in for a comprehensive paper that's due at the end of the semester with all those different components that we've talked about throughout the semester put together in that. So most of your graduate classes are going to be a little bit more writing intensive because we are at a higher level. There's a bit more reading and writing that's due to this. And so this is where it ties into before where I was talking about most of our working professionals. Some of them do take 3 classes, but depending on your day job or your job that you're working, 1 to 2 courses may be more beneficial for you to take during the semester so that you can balance that workload of those classes and the your job that you may have.
Yeah.
Uh, I know most of our ag teachers, they take about 2 classes. Our extension professionals, those that are out and doing programs and going and visiting people and actually out traveling a good bit. Some of them have taken 1 to 2 classes per semester. But then we also have our ones that can manage 3 classes and work extremely well under pressure. And so they like to take those 3 classes and go ahead and get those things knocked out and while still managing everything else. So we really do have quite an easy and balanced system for those that are wanting to do this completely online.
Yes. Well, that is an excellent point because we want people to be successful, and it's better to be a little conservative in terms of what you take on and are able to handle it versus maybe taking on too much and then running into some academic trouble. So at the graduate school level, 9 hours is considered full time, and that truly is a full workload. So most of our graduate students who work typically take 1 to 2 classes, which is 3 to 6 hours. So something to think about as you're deciding um, how much you're able to take on, considering your other responsibilities. So
Yeah.
yes.
And that's something that we talk about in our seminar class as well. You know, managing your workload. A lot of the times as people are coming into our program, they'll only take seminar just to start off.
Mhm.
And then they'll work into everything else depending on, you know, the workload of that class and then future classes that we talked about. But we actually sit down and work through your degree plan and figure out classes that would benefit you based on your purpose of taking the program and what you want out of it. And then, you know, we'll talk a little bit about, you know, how well do you work, you know, what's an achievable workload that you think you may want to balance. And we could really try to craft the degree plan around what you want and what you can do during this time.
Good. Very good. So you mentioned that your students typically are coming from ag ag sector. They
Mhm.
may be ag extension officers, they may be ag educators, or coming from other industries. What academic backgrounds do these people have? And
Most
can they come from any academic background?
They can come from any academic background. We do ask them to have just a little bit of an ag background, in which you don't have to have a whole bunch. And I know, at least being here in Texas and people from Texas, almost everybody's tied to ag in one way or another. And so, even with a little bit of an ag background, we can get you pulled into the correct areas real quick. And that's part of what our required courses are designed to do. We talk about the history of agricultural education and extension education and where those come from, you know, what laws that, you know, started that back in the early 1930s and so on. And we really start working towards getting that base level of understanding in ag education and where that sort of came from. And then based on your academic background, you can then dive divert whichever way you want to, elective course wise, to get some of that more basic information that you need or that you may want. Or you can go into your more specialized area that you would like to go towards for getting your master's.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of our industry professional people are ones that are in leadership positions within different types of agricultural organizations. I know we get several that work with Farm Bureau on insurance sides. We've got people that work with a variety of different livestock shows that may be a little bit more communications related, either photography, video management, or even social media management for those different areas. And then, of course, like I mentioned before, our ag teachers and extension agents, um, those people tend to go a little bit more either teaching focus, curriculum focus, program evaluation focus, um, the creation of new content and stuff for those areas, especially since our extension agents are either dealing with our 4-H, so our younger kids, or our more adult side of things and talking with farmers and the general public and educating them on agricultural education or specific crop or ranch homeland management type stuff like that. And we've got our high school teachers, middle school teachers that are, and that is their main focus is our young and adolescent students.
Yes. Any success stories you want to mention? Where have you seen people take this degree? How have they been able to leverage it to advance themselves?
Well, the picture right here, for example, Ashley, she was my second thesis student. She's actually at the Ohio State right now, completing her PhD, and is hoping to move on and become a agricultural education preparation uh, professor. And so she hopefully one day will be working with future undergrad students that would want to become ag teachers and help them develop their career like that. We recently had another graduate move back to Maryland, where she was from, and is now working with Farm Bureau at the more national level there in DC with some of her background as well. So
Super cool. Super cool.
we've we've got them going everywhere.
Yes, fantastic. Well, this has been super helpful. Thank you so much, Dr. Pulley. I'm not seeing any questions from the audience, so at this point, I think we can end the webinar, but I thank you for your time. Thank you for your expertise. And just a reminder to the audience that this recording will be available to review on demand in the College of Graduate Studies YouTube channel. So we invite you to go back and rewatch it as much as necessary. And if you know of others who might be interested in this content, certainly feel free to share it with them as well. So with that, we thank you for your time. And at this point, we'll end our webinar. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.